saying he had pretty good spring for the Orioles, so he goes down to AAA Ottawa, pitches well. Actually, was second on the Ottawa staff and with 8 wins out of the bullpen, so he's been around. I mean, Padres, Cubs, Royals, Yankees, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. Last year pitched a little bit in the Mexican League after starting in the Pacific Coast League. If you look at his numbers, he's always given up less hits than innings pitched. Maybe a little bit wild with a lot of strikeouts. So how about this for your major league debut? Alex Rodriguez, the youngest guy ever to get to 450 home runs and 2,000 hits. A bit younger than Ken Griffey Jr.
There are the runners. Jeter at second. He reached on the error. Abreu at first. RBI single.
Slider in the middle of the plate, and he takes it. Hey, you never remember your first at bat in the big leagues, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher. I had Canigliaro with the bases loaded and snow flurries when I was 19. Of course, I didn't know that I would go 3,940-some innings without throwing a grand slam. I could have gotten out of the way of the first guy. I was so nervous I brought the warm-up ball in with me.
They let you use it?
No, Hank Bauer was the manager, and he said, "You're not nervous?" I said, "Well, I've never done this before because I was a starting pitcher in A-ball when I was 18 for Cal Ripken Sr." And I said, "Well," he said, "Well, he's a great high ball, fastball hitter, but he said that's what you do best." And I said, "Well, what do I do with this extra ball?" He said, "I can take care of that. You take care of him." So I handed him the ball, got the real one.
Now the Orioles trail by 5 with this insurance run in the 9th inning.
94-mile-per-hour fastball, so pretty good velocity. Well, probably the pitch of choice here would be a slider. He threw him one that was in the middle of the plate, and the other one was up and away. So it all comes down to, for relief pitchers, can you command your stuff? So we see so many guys come in with pretty good arms, and they just don't command the ball. And that's so much of the important part of pitching.
Cued towards first. That's a foul ball.
Well, they commanded that one pretty well. Ball went straight down. It was a slider at 87. Oh, what an opportunity. Oriole bullpen. ERA over 5 runs a game. You're relatively young. Turned 29 earlier in the year. Finally get to the big leagues. And you want to make an impression, and a good one.
Well, you get some outs, all of a sudden they notice you. Perkins came up to give a fresh arm, and all of a sudden he started getting hitters out, and his role expanded. Same with Chris Britton. Strike 3 called. Look high, but
well, that probably was up, but A-Rod, I mean, he's go back. If he looks at this film, he's going to say, this is a ball I should have deposited in the second deck. You cannot, with the strike zone today, take this pitch. It's a hanging slider. It's probably a little bit high, but it's very hittable. As it turns out, he just gets fooled a little bit. Southwest plain view. The ball's well over the plate. It's just a hanging slider and it's a high one. So there you go. First batter in the big leagues, Alex Rodriguez, on his way to Cooperstown. Struck him out.
Andy Phillips batting for a first time today. He's in Giambi's spot. Pinch ran, stayed in the game defensively.
Well, Phillips, very, very good June. I know he hit a home run against us in June. Then he was talking about it on the bench the other day. Struggled in July. Hit some balls real well. Gotten a little bit of a slump and started maybe trying too hard. Good high fastball hitter. And there you go. 94 and a fastball count. Couldn't quite get to it.
In 2003, Winston Abreu was in spring training with the Yankees. They released him late in camp instead of sending him to the minor leagues, and he sat out the entire season following. Last year split his time with Arizona's AAA team at Tucson in the Mexican. They loaned him to the Mexican League, Arizona did.
Kind of an unorthodox windup in a sense because he really leans back. Imagine watch him really try to get some leverage as we did about 6'2", 170. Another good fastball down and away.
He's had a lot of experience in AAA. Leo Mazzoni had him as a young pitcher in Atlanta, but he never did make it to the big leagues with the Braves.
And then what happens is, Jim, and you know this, you get labeled, are you a major league player or are you a 4A? That's kind of in between AAA and the big leagues. You're never able to take that step up. Royals attempted to, they had a guy, Travis Bristol, a couple years ago. Another high slider fouled away. And he came up and actually had a little bit of success, but he was always one of those guys just on the fringe. Kind of like you're sitting on top of a fence. You know, if you lean right, you go to the big leagues, but you have enough stuff. You know, a lot of guys that you get caught up in having your career. As we mentioned, Winston's 29. If you like playing baseball, you make pretty good money at it, and you just keep having the same dream we all had, which is I'm going to get to the big leagues and I'm going to do well, and all of a sudden I'm going to have a job for maybe 3, 4, 5 years. Just kind of throwing through his slider and can't get it to break.
So 3-2 with 2 down. The runners will be off with the pitch. Jeter from second and Abreu from first. 2 men down, full count. Left field, Conine is there, and he's got it for the out. Abreu comes in, faces 2 batters, gets 2 outs. We'll head to the bottom of the 9th. The Birds need